and press the button and say hi to everybody. Haven't seen you in a long time. I'm Adam from the Press Continue podcast over there. And what I'm doing today, I haven't, again, live streamed in a long time, so I'm trying to figure this system out again. But what I'm doing is a Commander Magic the Gathering deck tech. People like my stupid jank decks. I got a lot of fun feedback on this deck. So I'm going to share it with you today. And today we are going to talk about my deck that has Ruhan of the Fomori as the commander. What do we got here? Okay. So what is going on with this commander? So it's a 7/7 that says at the beginning of combat on your turn, choose an opponent at random. Ruhan of the Fomori attacks that player this combat if able. So everybody always knows when I'm playing this deck because I will pull out some random dice and they're like, oh, here he comes. Plus, no one sees this deck ever coming. It's so out there. I took a mechanic that no one ever plays with and most people don't understand. Phasing, back from old Visions. Something I never played with back in Visions just because I didn't know how it worked either. But I figured it out, and yeah, it's a mess, and I love it. So it's become one of my favorite decks. I put a lot of weird stuff in it that doesn't even make sense to be in there, but for some reason it works. And again, the point of Commander is to have fun with it. So that's what I do, is have fun with it. So let's flip over to the table, and we'll go over some of the cards that are in the deck. Let me turn this a little bit. There we go. So you can see all my games. You can tell I got my Pac-Man going on over there. I got my Ghostbusters hat because Pac-Man is the original Ghostbuster, and got my Pac-Man Power shirt going on. So I'm all Pac-Man'd out. That has nothing to do with this deck. I just thought it was something I should point out. So let me try texting myself in here too and see if the text box is working, and it looks like it is. Cool. All right. So of course, like I said, I got Ruhan. He's up in the corner there, way over there too. So there he is, hitting people at random. All right. So I always start with the land base. So here is the stack of lands I'm using. Let's go through them. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 islands. Super exciting. Look at that. That's from Mirage. Mirage, I think, had phasing in it as well. So, staying on flavor there. Mountains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 mountains. So, again, we got some old Ice Age ones there. Actually, I got 3 Ice Age ones in there. Look at that. Some Portal. So keeping it weird with old lands. Then we got first. Okay, so these new lands. What do you guys think of these new lands? Because the originals. Let's get one that's not all written all over. Of course, land has evolved over the years. We got the original. What is that? Urza's lands. Got the new, I forget the name of the set because my brain doesn't work anymore. We got some, I don't know that set either. But lands have changed over the years. And some people hate these lands, some people love these lands. I think they're really cool looking. The only thing I don't like about them is that when you have a multicolored deck using these lands, if you're using swamps and forests, they kind of blend together to me, because the coloring, it's so dark that you don't see a big difference in the colors. Islands kind of stick out, plains definitely stick out, and I love the mountains because I love red decks. But out of the packs that I opened, which are not very many, of course plains is the one foil I get, which who the hell likes white? I am not normally a fan of white, but I threw it in there anyway because it's the one I have, so let's make it pretty. So planes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 planes with one pretty one. Alright, then we get into the funky lands, right? So we got a Mystic Monastery, which comes in the battlefield tapped, and gives me blue, red, or white, of course the 3 colors of the deck. Command Tower, can't live without a Command Tower and a Commander deck. Then I got some indestructible lands. There's only a few. Cascading Cataracts, which is interesting because now I can't see the colors because I have cataracts in my eyes. Indestructible, tap for colorless, but then 5 and tap it to add 5 mana and any combination of colors to your mana pool. Why not? It's indestructible. That's important. Darksteel Citadel, again indestructible. Tap to add 1 colorless. It is an artifact land, which does not really come into play at all in this deck, but the indestructible does, because I did do something that most people hate. I hate it, you hate it, we all hate it. There is some land destruction in the deck. So, heads up. Some fetch lands, the Terramorphic Expanse. Of course, tap, sack it, go search for a basic land, and put it into play tapped. Right? Yeah. And Involving Wilds, which does the same damn thing. Flagstones of Torquair. Legendary land. It's basically a plains, but when it dies, or when it's destroyed, lands don't die, they just get destroyed. When it gets destroyed, I go through my deck and find a plains card and put it in the battlefield tapped. Again, land destruction, well, I come out ahead. Ghost Town, because how many times do I get a chance to run Ghost Town? Tap, add a colorless mana, or pay 0, and return Ghost Town to owner's hand. Use this ability only during another player's turn. So if I'm about ready to board wipe, I want to make sure, board wipe, land destroy, whatever, I'm going to make sure that I have a land to play next turn by bouncing this to my hand before I do it, before the end of your turn. So Ghost Town's in there. It's, again, one of those just like goofy cards that I threw in there because how often do you get to use Ghost Town? And people are always like, what the hell is Ghost Town? Here we go, start with phasing. And this card is terrible. It is by far one of the worst Magic cards that I have ever used. But the Fairies Isle, it's a phasing land. Comes into play tapped. But when you tap it, you get 2 blue mana. So, okay, let me show you how this thing works. You play it, comes into play tapped. So already you can't use it first turn. Second turn, it'll phase out. Still can't use it. Third turn, it finally comes back in untapped. And then you can finally get that 2 blue mana. So this is, again, it's terrible. But when I'm gonna, destroy all land or something like that, and this thing's phased out the next turn, I'm basically gonna have a land to play end this, so I'm starting out with 3 mana when you don't have any or 1. So that's kind of the reason that it's in there, and again, I just wanted to be able to use it, and this is a perfect deck because it's on theme, but I guess I should back up a minute and explain more about how phasing works. So when something has phasing, yeah. When something has phasing, what that means is the turn it comes into play, it is actually in play. Okay? Your next turn, at the beginning of your turn, it disappears. It is not removed from game. It is not exiled. It just ceases to exist. So you normally flip it over. Okay, so it phases out. So it goes into this weird limbo state where it just doesn't exist for some reason. It's nowhere to be found. You can't target it. You can't do anything with it. It's just gone. Then on your next upkeep or beginning of turn, anything that is phased out will phase back in untapped. If it's a creature, it does not have summoning sickness anymore because it has technically been on the board a full round. Any counters it has, enchantments phase out with it, like auras will phase out with the creature. Tokens like +1/+1 counters, things like that, actually fall off when it phases out. What else can I tell you about phasing? Because it's a complicated mechanic. There's so many weird subtle things about it. They did change things where now tokens in the past, tokens when they phased out, they were removed from game. Now tokens can actually phase out and phase back in. That changed when Teferi's Protection came out, which was the first return of phasing in like 20 years. Probably 18 years. So I think that's all the rules I need to talk about with phasing. Yes? Good? Alright. So that's all the oh, wait. We got one more funky land. Do I got them all here? Hold on. I got all those. And then we got Sunhome, Fortress of the Legion. It is a land that makes a colorless, but you can pay 2, a red and a white, tap it, target creature gains double strike until end of turn. So you can already see some of the shenanigans I'm already planning with Ruhan, because commander damage is a thing. You take 21 commander damage, you dead. I can't control him, but if I'm hitting people 14 at a time, it doesn't matter if I can control him, because he's going to kill people. So, a little foreshadowing there for the rest of the deck. So, we will put the lands away and shuffle those up a little bit. Because, of course, after I do a little something with that and show you guys the whole deck, I will be play testing a hand or two to kind of to kind of show you how the deck runs and what it do, and kind of get an idea of how this mess goes. So if you're watching, please comment, give a thumbs up, say hi, whatever, subscribe. Of course, go check out presscontinuepodcast.com, because that is who I am and what I'm doing. Of course, we talk about all kinds of gaming, retro gaming, video games, obviously Magic. So let's see what else I got going on here. See if I can invite some people into this. If anybody wants to say hi and hang out with me, sure. I don't know what these buttons do, because again, I haven't Facebook streamed a lot, but I think I'm sending invites to people to come join the stream, so we'll see if anyone decides to come say hi. Share. Can I? Don't know what I'm doing. Alright. Well, should we do God, it's getting hot in here. I can't believe it's already like 75 degrees outside. Can we do creatures next? No, let's do creatures last. Let's do spells, things besides creatures. Okay, so I'm going to start with some stuff to protect Ruhan and buff him. So we'll start with some Trailblazers boots. Trailblazers boots equipped, of course, an equipment Equipped creature has non-basic land walk. Non-basic land walk. And it's equipped too. So who in Commander doesn't use non-basic lands? So we're making Ruhan unblockable to get that commander damage through, right? Okay. Then we got a Whisper Silk Cloak. Equipped creature is unblockable. And it has Shroud. Shroud, I always get confused with one of the other terms, but Shroud can't be the target of spells or abilities. So, and this has equipped too. So looks like Katie joined in. Hey, Katie. So again, getting Ruhan damage through, getting that commander damage through, wrecking town. Battle Mastery. Enchanted creature, so it's an aura. Enchanted creature has double strike. So again, double damage. Let's wreck you with commander damage, right? Some Onward and Victory. So Onward, target creature gets +X+0 until end of turn, where X is its power. So again, 14 damage. Then when it's in the graveyard, you can play Victory. Victory, so that's what Aftermath means. If it's in your graveyard, you can play it, but then you have to exile it. Target creature gains double strike until end of turn. Wait a minute, let me move that. Boop. Katie has liked the stream. Thanks, Katie. Get Alec on here too. I'm sure he'd enjoy this, because this is that fun phasing deck. So again, double strike. This is fun when you play it back to back, because you make it a 14-14, then you double strike it, and now it's a 28-28. Somebody dead. Hey, Brittany, my co-host from the Press Continue podcast, says hello. Looks like Eric popped in too. Hey, Eric. Joe, my brother, is on there. Jeez, man. I got everybody showing up now. I guess that invite button works. So, Vanishing. Here we go with bringing in the phasing. So it's an enchant creature, pay 2 blue, enchanted creature phases out. So, of course, if I'm doing board wipes, phasing him out. If he's being targeted, phase him out. Basically, that double blue works as a counter spell if anybody's doing anything to that creature. So, Eric, I was just talking to him the other day about your time stop to Alec, because he was trying to figure out how to stop somebody's deck from comboing off, and I mentioned time stop, and I had to look it up for him, and of course, I told him how much I hate it when you play time stop, but I would sure one day like to get a time stop so I can time stop you so you can see how it feels and I can laugh in your face. Thanks for all the likes on the stream so far, guys. I appreciate that. We got a Tamir Battle Rage. Target creature gains double strike until end of turn. Ferocious. That creature also gains trample until end of turn if you control a creature with power 4 or greater. Well, Ruhan is a 7/7, so he's automatically going to get a double strike and trample. You see kind of a theme going on here. I can't control him, but he's going to wreck people. Smothering Tide, of course, one of the best mana ramping white cards I've seen, I think, ever, because nobody pays the tax. Whenever an opponent draws a card, that player may pay 2. If that player doesn't, you create a colorless treasure artifact token. Katie, thanks for the follow. And those treasures, of course, are tap, sack, add mana of any color. So again, if I wipe all lands, destroy all lands, I still got treasures. Eric's following too. Thanks for the follow. This is cool. This is like the best stream I think I've ever had. Yeah, can you time stop a time stop? Does that work? Since they're both split second? I don't know. Yeah, time stop. Don't play against Eric. Time stops. No. Armageddon. Here's those the board wipes. So Armageddon, everyone loves it, hates it. Destroy all lands, right? Fall of the Thran. This is an interesting land wipe. So it's one of those sagas where the first is destroy all lands. Then you got 2 and 3 is each player returns 2 land cards from their graveyard to the battlefield. So I might destroy all lands, but I'm going to give some back eventually, if you live long enough. Let's see. No, because nothing can be on the stack with split second. You can't double stamp a triple stamp. Apocalypse. This is one of those cards I got back in, what is that, Tempest, I believe? And always wanted to play it, never found a way to play it. This deck, I definitely play it. So Apocalypse, remove all permanents from the game, so just wipe the board, start over, and I discard my entire hand. So I go into top deck mode, but everybody else, nobody has anything. So whatever, man. But typically I will Apocalypse after phasing out a bunch of stuff. Again, that stupid phasing land to Fairies Veil. I will phase out usually my commander with Vanishing, or there's a bunch of others ways to phase things out, so I will do that. So again, phase out Apocalypse, and next turn, no one can stop whatever phases back in. Nev Disc, oldie but a goodie, comes into play tapped. Pay 1, tap it, destroy all creatures, enchantments, and artifacts, including Nev Disc itself. There's some old wording for you. So, again, board wiping. Blasphemous Act, costs 1 less to cast for each creature on the battlefield. Does 13 damage to each creature. Of course, the best red board wipe, period. So, a must in every red deck. Jackal Hops. Is that how you say it? Jackal Hops, yep. Bury all artifacts, creatures, and lands. If you notice, though, a lot of this stuff does not do anything about planeswalkers, which is definitely a problem for me. But if planeswalkers start getting too high, I just phase them out. All your counters fall off. That's it. Brought back. So after all these board wipes, I need to bring stuff back. Choose up to 2 permanent cards in your graveyard that were put there from the battlefield this turn. Return them to the battlefield tapped. So that's always a neat surprise because it is an instant. To someone else board wipes, I board wipe, whatever. I bring it back. That has saved my butt a couple of times. Flood of Recollection. Return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. Exile Flood of that thing. So, again, bringing back all this stuff that I just played so I can play it again and either wreck people or wreck the board. Pariah. What do we got? Time Stop doesn't have split second. Are you sure? You're going to make me look up Time Stop now, aren't you? Let me look up Time Stop real quick. It had something. Let's see. Time. MTG Time Stop. Well, it no, it doesn't have split second, but it says remove everything off the stack and just end the freaking turn. Literally end the turn. So, oh, that's a terrible picture of it. That's not any better. So, you're right. It does not have split second. So if you respond to a time... God, I hate that freaking card. So if you respond to a time stop, it will time stop the person that casts time stop. Okay, back to this goofy deck. Pariah, redirect to enchant a creature, all damage dealt to you. This is again fun with phasing because any damage done to me, I will redirect back to the creature, and then before the damage is while the damage is on the stack or while the damage is being sent there, I will again phase that creature out, and basically makes me indestructible. Then we got some emergency cards. Evacuation. Return all creatures to owner's hand if somebody starts outdoing you. And Aether Gale. Aether? Return 6 non-land permanents to their owner's hand. Again, clearing the way so Ruhan can get through. The only thing, though, why it would not be good in this deck, again, we're going back to time stop talk, is that it costs 6 mana, and if I have 6 mana, there's a problem. Because typically the deck will run with, well, I need to get to 4, and that's, a lot of the casting costs are kind of lower, and I did that on purpose, but typically I will get 4 to 5 land. If I get the 6th land, it gets rough to recover from that after I do a destroy all lands. So, Flood of Tears. Return all non-land permanents to their owner's hand. If you return 4 or more non-token permanents you control this way, you may put a permanent card from your hand on the battlefield. So again, bounce everything. Ruhan comes back out. Boom. Sleep. Again, making way for my stuff to get through. Tap all creatures target player controls. Those creatures do not untap during that player's next untap phase. That's won me so many games. Reality Ripple. Target artifact, creature, or land phases out. And it's an instant. So, too, I can use that if somebody's coming at, I can use that defensively or offensively. So I have protected myself with that as well before. You know, somebody's coming at me with some big, huge creature, or they're about to combo off with something, and I will phase out whatever is making them combo and buy us all another turn to kill them. And there we go, to Fairies Protection. The whole reason to get that stupid Vampires deck. Until your next turn, your life total can't change, and you have protection from everything. All permanents you control phase out. Here's the fine print. While they're phased out, they're treated as though they don't exist. They phase in before you untap during your untap step. So when you play it, you exile to Fairies Protection. So there's a good quick. All right, Katie. Thanks for joining. Exile to Fairy. So that's a good quick way of explaining how phasing works. But here's my favorite combination in here. I do not have an extra to Fairies Protection. Come on, man. So this is my fun combo here, is I will play these two together. I will play Apocalypse and respond to my own Apocalypse by Teferi's Protectioning. So all my stuff will phase out, and then Apocalypse will hit the board, exiling the entire board and everyone else's thing. I don't care if I have a hand anymore, because next turn all my stuff phases back in, and no one has anything. I have pulled off this combo. Out of maybe the 10 times I've played this deck, it has hit my hand 3 times. And I have played it every single time. And watching people's reaction to that, they just go like, well, that just happened. And it's such a great time. I love it. I love it. This is what inspired the whole deck right here. Is I said I'm going to find a way to play Apocalypse and phasing, and that did it. So again, protecting me, since all my junk is attacking, we got Ghostly Prison. Creatures can't attack you unless their controller pays 2 for each creature they are attacking you with. And then, of course, the blue version of it, Propaganda, that does the same thing. Let's clean this up a little bit, because now we're doing protection cards. We're doing Teferi's Protection. We're doing, line that up a little better. Alright. to Fairies Veil. This card I have found a way to abuse in a few different decks. Whenever any creature I control attacks, it phases out at end of combat. So here's another thing, is I will attack with everything. They'll all phase out at the end of combat, and in my second main phase, I will do the board wipe. Again, leaving me with stuff coming on back on my next turn, leaving everyone else in recovery mode. So it's a good card to abuse. Even a lot of stuff that says like exile a creature at end of turn, if you have a way to give it haste, but Fairies Veil is out, again it will attack, phase out. Those extra exile at end of turn effects will disappear or phase off of it, and then on your next turn you have that creature on the board for real. So there's some really neat ways to abuse this card in Reanimator decks as well. So, which I plan on doing some of my other like Reanimator decks and things like that do use this. I mean, we're at home, we got nothing to do, so I plan on showing you guys a few more of my decks. Oh, hey Ben, thanks for coming, visiting. Wyatt, hello, thanks for tuning in. Authority of the Councils. An enchantment. Creatures your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under an opponent's control, I gain a life. So again, them coming in tapped slows them down, making room for Ruhan and all his buddies to get through, which we haven't gotten to creatures yet, so be ready for that. That or, well, I'd invite you over to just do this with me, but of course everyone's locked down on quarantine, so someday we can figure it out where me and Eric can go through some of his decks, because Eric's a guy I've been playing with for years, and he's a good friend of mine, and I'll admit it, you're better than me. So he's got some really fun decks, so we can maybe show some of those off one of these days. We got a Mystical Tutor here. Search your library. This is the old wording. Search your library for an instant, interrupt, mana source, or sorcery. When's the last time you heard somebody talk about an interrupt? Show it to all players. Shuffle your library and put the card back on top of it. Yeah, Robbie's definitely better than both of us. I don't know how his brain works. I wish I understood how his brain worked. That's why we always try to kill him first, right? But it doesn't work. He still kills everyone instead. Verity Circle. This has been an interesting card. It actually works very well in this deck. Whenever a creature an opponent controls becomes tapped, if it isn't being declared as an attacker, I get to draw a card. You can pay 4 and a blue, tap target creature without flying. There's some other stuff in the deck that you haven't seen yet, creature-wise, that works very well with this. So remember this card. We'll actually put it to the side, because that's going to be something that we'll talk about more. Treasure Cruise. Since I'm board wiping, I might as well have Delve in there. Draw 3 cards. I just put this in there, and I don't know how I like it or not, but hold on, I'm going to show you what I took out for that. Because this card is dumb, and I only got to cast it once. Apex of Power, I just took out of the deck, which is exile the top 7 cards of your library. Until end of turn, you may cast non-land cards exiled this way. If the spell was cast from your hand, add 10 mana of any one color. Well, I thought it was 10 mana of any color, period. Which would have made this card way better, but no. Took that out for Treasure Hunt. Treasure Hunt is reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a non-land card, then put all cards revealed this way into your hand. So you could draw 1 card, you could draw a few cards, either way. I could get more than 1 land, which again, after destroying all lands, it's good to have some extra land in your hand, right? All right, Eric. Charge your phone, but thanks for tuning in. Time Warp. Target player takes an extra turn after this one. So, again, if I can get 2 turns of shots with Ruhan, I'm going to do it. And here's another take another turn with Delve. Take an extra turn after this one. Exile, Temporal, Trespass. So we've gotten through all the non-creature spells. Let me mix that up a little bit so that when we do some test plays at the end of this, you can see something. You can see what this deck might run like. Uh-oh. Dropped a card! No! Ugh. So while I'm doing a little shuffling, here's something that I learned about shuffling. I actually watched a YouTube video about shuffling. And first they said shuffling like this does not shuffle your cards at all. So if you see anyone ever shuffling like that, it does not do a damn thing for your deck to randomize it. Shuffling, riffle shuffling, but of course you're not gonna, riffle shuffle magic cards. So we typically will shuffle like this. Doing riffle shuffling at least 7 times is enough to sufficiently randomize any amount of cards. So I have been testing that theory and doing that 7 times, and I've been telling people about it every time I do it, and they've kind of agreed with it. Like, people will search for something, do this shuffle 7 times, and they've noticed that their deck is literally randomized. So it's been working. Let's see if I can. I think I already invited just about everybody here. Invite him. Invite Ben. I don't know how to invite anyone else. So we did some shuffling. Now we're gonna hit all the creatures, right? So, we gotta protect Ruhan, besides just through phasing. So we have Mother of Runes. Tap, target creature you control gains protection from a color of your choice until end of turn. So, protection. Giver of Runes basically does the same thing. Another target creature you control gains protection from colorless or from a color of your choice until end of turn. That was tasty. Now we get into, okay, so this is some of the stuff that works with Verity Circle. Again, if they tap a creature that's not attacking, I get to draw a card. So this is where my card draw really kicks in with these next few creatures that are going to pop up, which are, which you got Fiendbinder. It's a 3/2. Whenever Fiendbinder attacks, tap target creature defending player controls. Sentinel of the Eternal Watch. It's a Vigilance 4/6. At the beginning of combat on each opponent's turn, tap target creature that player controls. You see what's going on here? Niblis of the Urn. It's a 1/1 flyer. Whenever Niblis of the Urn attacks, you may tap target creature. That can be any creature on the board, not just who you're attacking. Star Crowned Stag. It's a 3/3. Whenever Star Crowned Stag attacks, tap target creature defending player controls. Season Marshal. It's a 2/2. Whenever Season Marshal attacks, you may tap target creature. Any creature. We got Cho Arim Bruiser. When Cho Arim Bruiser attacks, you may tap up to 2 target creatures. He's a 3/4. You see there's a lot of these. Territorial Hammer Skull. Whenever Territorial Hammer Skull attacks, tap target creature and opponent controls. Again, any creature. So there's a lot of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's 7 creatures that will tap other people's creatures to get them out of my way, because I can't control Ruhan, but Ruhan, you pick who you're randomly attacking at the beginning, so you can attack with this and this. Choose the random person you're... Here we go. Back it up. Choose the random person you're attacking, then choose what creatures to tap. So that has come in working very well. Now we get into some phasing fun. Flying phasing. When Shimmering Efreet phases in, target creature phases out. A lot of times with this, again with the phasing, it'll phase out and it'll phase back in. Sometimes if there's nothing good to target, or I want to keep my stuff on the board, I will phase him right back out. So again, you can't mess with him, and he's still sitting there waiting for a good target for me to phase out, so that, again, I can get through. So when he phases in, something else phases out. Bold Vodalane Illusionist. Pay 2, tap him, target creature phases out. This guy is very important in this deck, and again, he has been. I've used him once he's on the board. You target anything of mine, you better believe I'm gonna pay that 2 blue to basically counterspell whatever you're doing. If you target him, that's fine, because he'll phase himself out. So he's an MVP of the deck right there. Rainbow Efreet. Flying, 3/1, pay 2, phase out. Phases him out. Again, I just kind of took every phasing card that I had and put it in this deck. Like this stupid thing, Teferi's Honor Guard. He's flanking 2/2. Flanking is a old mechanic. And what that old mechanic does is, if somebody blocks this creature when it's attacking, the blocking creature gets -1/-1 till end of turn. Used to be a huge thing back in the day when Visions was around. That whole Visions, Weatherlight, and what's the third one? I don't remember. Used to be a huge thing, flanking, but this guy also has pay 2 blue and he phases out. Again, more getting things out of my way. We got Mangara of Corondor. He's a 1/1. Tap him, exile this guy, and a target permanent. So exiles are good for getting rid of other people's indestructible garbage. Cataclysm Gearhulk. 4/5, Vigilance. Whenever Cataclysmic Gearhulk enters the battlefield, each player chooses an artifact, a creature, and an enchantment, and a planeswalker from among the non-land permanents he or she controls, then sacrifice the rest. So you get one of every permanent type except for land, you get to keep, and everything else gets sacrificed. Just thinning out the board. This is another surprisingly good card. Intrepid Hero. He's a 1/1, tap to destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. Gets rid of a lot of stuff on the board, a lot of scary stuff. These are some more fun cards that I've always wanted to play with, and I just threw them in here, and they've been fun. They've just been fun. Shocker. If Shocker damages, it's a 1/1. If Shocker damages any player, that player discards his or her hand, then draws a new hand of as many cards as he or she had before. So if you hit somebody with this, they basically wheel. It's fun, especially if I bounce stuff and then I hit somebody with a Shocker. All that stuff that they wanted to play again is gone. So that's fun. And then basically you have Barb Shocker, which is a 2/2 with Trample Haste, which does the same thing. So, I mean, I put one in there, I might as well put both of them in there. Omnispell Adept. So Omnispell Adept, originally I put in there for this stupid combo, because Omnispell Adept is a 3/4, pay 2 and a blue, tap this, you may cast an instant or sorcery card from your hand without paying its mana cost. So this is an affordable way to play Apex of Power, and still get the 10 mana from it, but again, this card does not work in this deck, so it's gone. But basically this makes every sorcery an instant, so it's fun when you like instant board wipe or just play unexpected things, especially if you have them on the board and the 3 mana sitting there. People are like, what's he doing? So it's a good bluffer too. Bayard Stool of Argiv, Vigilance 2/4. Creatures can't attack you or planeswalkers you control unless their controller pays 1 for each of those creatures. So it's basically like a ghostly prison on a creature. This basically is a ghostly prison on a creature. Windborn Muse. It's a 2/3 flyer. Creatures can't attack you unless the attacker pays 2. Oh yeah, and again, Ruhan has to attack every turn if able. So again, I don't really have defense up, so why not tax people? This is another fun card, Varchild, Betrayer of Kjildor. Whenever it's a 3/3, whenever, I'm not gonna say that name again, deals combat damage to a player, that player creates that many 1/1 red survivor creature tokens. So at that point, I'm like, who wants some creature tokens? Survivors your opponents control can't block, and they can't attack me or a planeswalker I control. When this leaves the battlefield, gain control of all survivors. So I will attack people with this, let them build up survivors, and then phase it out, and take all their survivors, and then attack them with them, and kill them. It's fun with phasing, because all it has to do is leave the battlefield, and then I get everyone's survivor tokens. Thalia Heretic Cathar. First strike 3/2. Creatures and non-basic lands your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. So again, slowing them down, making room for me to get through. This is the one card I do not have a real one of in the deck. It is a Greater Gargadon with Suspend 10, 1 red mana. So Suspend 10 says you get 10 suspend counters on this. Every turn you can remove a suspend counter. When there's no more suspend counters on it, this finally comes into play. It's a 9/7. But I can also sacrifice an artifact, creature, or land, remove a time counter from Greater Gargadon. Play this ability only if Greater Gargadon is suspended. So, when I go to board wipe, I will remove 9 counters. So there's 1 left. So on my next turn, he comes out. Again, that's really good if I have this suspended and I Apocalypse. Well, in response to my Apocalypse, I will sacrifice my board, which means also my stuff does not go to exile. It will go to the graveyard. Why is that important? I don't really know. Then this, again, I'll have a 9/7 next turn and nobody has anything. I guess sending it to the graveyard instead, if I had mana left over, I can use Brought Back and have 3 permanents now, instead of nothing. So it's a fun interaction I just figured out. Brought Back is starting to be a really good card. I like it. Here's another one with Suspend. Deep Sea Kraken. Deep Sea Kraken cannot be blocked. Suspend 9, and that's 2 colorless and 1 blue to do that. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, if DC Kraken is suspended, remove a time counter from it. It's a 6/6, unblockable. So that's pretty easy to get out for 3 mana in a commander game, because only having to go through nine spells, especially after wiping the board. People are going to play stuff again. I'm going to get him back out pretty quick. Selfless Spirit. 2/1 flyer. Sack Selfless Spirit. Creatures I control gain indestructible until end of turn. Do I need to say any more? Protect myself. Gisela, Blade of Gold Knight. It's not often that I get this out and enough mana to do it, but it's a 5/5 flying first strike. I'm going to give you the short of this. It doubles all damage that's done to opponents of mine by anyone. It halves all damage done to me by anyone. So, essentially, again, with all the stuff that would give Ruhan double strike, and then I give it double damage, it's just people are dying everywhere. And then Bruised Tarl, Boorish Herder. It's a 3/3. Whenever Bruised Tarl, Boorish Herder enters the battlefield or attacks, target creature you control gains double strike and lifelink until end of turn. He's a partner commander. Of course, we're not doing partners right now, but he's good to put in so many red and white decks. So double strike and lifelink. So again, Ruhan's going to get double strike and lifelink. I'm going to gain 14 life. You're going to lose 14 life. Good times. So that is the deck. I told you it had some strange stuff in it. I told you it was going to be odd. I told you it was going to be fun. It is very fun to play because you got to think on your feet, but it's very it's just interesting. I have not played anyone with this deck that has not had a smile on their face the whole time they've been playing against it, because it's so out there. And again, it's a lot of, what does that card do? How does phasing work again? That's a neat surprise. Even when I kill someone, they still stick around to see how the game finishes, because it's just a fun deck. It's just fun. So let's finish the shuffle. We're gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, I know how to count. 5. Green. F. All right. There we go. Shuffled it Q times. So I'll put the deck right underneath my Ruhan right there, and we'll draw our opening hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And fan them out. Let's see what we got. So we got an island. We got a land destruction. We got Pariah to protect. Rainbow Efreet. Indestructible land, land, land. So that, I mean, it's not a great hand. It's actually not a very good hand at all. But let's run it and see what happens. So we'll draw, get a brought back. We'll play an island. That's an exciting turn 1. Turn 2. All right, we're going to do the Teferi's Isle thing, right? Play turn 2 Teferi's Isle. Turn 3, phase out. Draw. Play a land. Okay. Turn 4, phases in. Turn 4, I now have 5 mana, right? So with this 5 mana, this was not a very good hand, and not a very good way to show you what this deck does. 2, 4, play the phasing Efreet. Phases out. We're finally getting some colors here. Okay, so watch. 1, 2, 3. We'll put a Pariah on my Rainbow Efreet. So if I take damage, it goes to that phasing creature, right? My next turn, this phases back in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. And I got the red. Cool. So, let's see. At this point, there would be way too many creatures on the board, right? So, what I'm going to do... let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. I would probably Blasphemous Act, but in response, pay the 2 and phase out. So, board wiping, putting my creature to the side, right? And then wait for next turn for this to phase out, phase back in, draw a card, play a land for Ruhan. Now it starts to get serious. Phase back in, draw a card. Yeah, let me shuffle up and see if I can give you another idea of how this deck works. Because sometimes it does work. I mean, it's definitely not, you know, competitive EDH. It's which I never want to play. I'm not a big fan of competitive formats. I like more casual. I've always played multiplayer. That's always where I've had more fun because there's so many more interactions with it. You get time to play goofy stuff. And as you can tell, I like goofy stuff. So let's do one more hand of this. See how it goes. You get an idea of what we're doing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, I'm not keeping that one land hand. So if you have any thoughts on this deck, please leave me some comments. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. Of course, I'm putting this up on YouTube afterwards. Right now, I'm doing this through Facebook Live. So leave me comments, subscribe, like. Go check out PressContinuePodcast.com. Just get all of our content that we have. Especially the podcast, because that's when I do that with Brittany. We have a good time. We make fun of each other. It's good. So, Ian. Hey, Ian. Thanks for joining tonight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, so that's a decent hand. We got a couple of land. We got a bunch of blue cards. No blue mana. So, that'll be fun to try to play anything. So let's see, turn 1. We get an Evolving Wilds. Put that out, crack it, go get an island. Comes into play tapped. Shuffle just quickly for shuffling's sake. There's a 1. Next turn, turn 2. We're getting lands. We're getting all the lands we need now. Look at that. Turn 2. Nothing exciting on turn 2. Turn 3. Nothing too exciting for turn 3 yet, huh? No. Not yet. Turn 4. Turn 4, we put that out. We get a Ruhan. Right? Okay. Turn 5. Turn 5. Play another land. And stuff starts getting real. 1, 2, 3, 4. Put a Fiendbender, the guy that taps people when he attacks. Making room for Ruhan to get through. Turn 6. Got a land. Okay. So this is where we wipe out a player with Onward Victory. So we attack that person at random. We attack with this. We, of course, we haven't been a threat the whole game, so why have people been attacking us? Even though it's turn 6. And what we will do is, during that attack, we will onward. So making it a 14-7. And then we will onward to victory, giving it double strike. Somebody's taking 28 damage, and this card is exiled, and they're dead. Now you're a threat. Now people are scared of you because you did stuff. So you get hit the next couple rounds. Okay, whatever. Next turn comes around, draw a card. There is another land. Play that, and now you have to attack at random again, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to do the, what are we going to do? We're going to attack somebody with both. Okay. Tapping one of their creatures, getting through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to Cataclysmic Gearhulk. Whenever it enters the battlefield, each player chooses an artifact, creature, enchantment, planeswalker from what non-land permanents, and then sacrifices the rest. So when I do that, I am going to keep Ruhan and sacrifice everything else. Okay, at least now they're only hitting me with one creature back, right? Next turn. Oh, I got an island. Look at that. So what we're going to do is attack somebody at random, right? Then I'm going to say, oh man, you're wide open. So we're going to 2, 5, we're going to time warp, take another turn. Before that next turn, we're going to put out an Intrepid Hero. Destroy target creature with power 4 or greater when you tap them. Next turn. Boop, 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 boop. So I get a second turn. Play another land. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What are we going to do at this point? We'll probably just open up the gates more for Ruhan. When he attacks, you can tap up to 2 creatures. Keep him in case somebody attacks me with something big. Hit somebody with Ruhan. They're almost dead to commander damage again. One last turn I'm going to take here. Alright, we got that treasure hunt, so I'm going to try it. I'm going to tap the 2 for a treasure hunt. I'm going to hunt for treasure. Reveal cards from the top of my library until I reveal a non-land card and put it into my hand. So let's see. We get a non-land card. It's an Omni spell Adept. Either way, basically I just cycled that card. Still alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's fun. Put them out. And I might as well take one more turn. Just because now I'm curious to see what pops up. Whenever he attacks, tap target creatures. So at this point, I could empty my hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. And have a full board out there. Tapping things, destroying big things, attacking in, protecting this, tapping everything that I attack with. All my sorceries are now instants. I mean, you see I got a lot of options here. When I have this much land now, at this point, I would just be holding it. Because if I can literally play anything in the deck at this point. And if I get a land wipe, now I got land holding in my hand. Selfless Spirit coming up. More lands. Didn't I have something out here that lets me draw more cards? No. That was Treasure Hunt. So yeah. It's a fun little deck. It's fun to mess with phasing. I enjoy it. Other people enjoy it. Everyone enjoys a good time. So I appreciate everybody that showed up today. Again, if you're watching and you haven't done it yet, please subscribe to the channel. Please check out Press Continue Podcast so you can see all of our content. Like us, follow us, comment on this video, whatever. Tell me what you think should go in the deck. Whatever. But I appreciate everybody for showing up tonight. And I will see you guys again soon because I have nothing better to do now. So tune in next time where the gaming never ends as long as you press continue. Bye, kids.